Welcome to Heath Keighran Cut.
It's kind of overshadowed by a lot of other things about Canberra. But the creative community, I think, is
very supportive.
Yeah.
I couldn't do what I do. So I was living in Sydney for a while. I don't think I could have gone full time in Sydney because I've got the networks here. Canberra's word of mouth. I haven't advertised. I'm busy. Touch wood, I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Although 2026, I want to actually be a bit more business minded. So yeah, my first 2 years I was like, oh, can I do this full time? And I'm like, all right, that's done. Now it's time to get strategic.
How long have you been doing We Are Found?
10. I've been shooting for 10.
Okay.
Full time too.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, because I'd always have it as a side hustle, working on weekends, doing TP shoots, to learn or do whatever. And then I finished a contract and I was like, all right, I'm going to quit. And I remember crying.
Okay.
I remember ringing my recruiter. She negotiated a new contract for me. I rang her and I said, I didn't want the job. She's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm going to work for myself. And that was it. So
well, it's pretty big, taking that leap, especially there's so much uncertainty in it, and it is a lot. I found when I started my own business, I'd kind of already created enough networks through doing it to then be okay or safe for a year or so, I felt. That was probably an illusion. I probably wasn't I'm just as safe as I was then when I first did it. But did you find there was what was the catalyst to you being no, I'm going all in?
So I had worked in mental health comms for the last 5 years. For full background, my background is communications and PR. Along the way, I picked up the skills of photography and fell in love with it. But after working on the mental health campaign during COVID, How's Your Head Today? Then I went to the Mental Health Commission.
Okay.
And then I went into Veteran Affairs, working on the Royal Commission into Suicide.
Oh yeah, wow.
It got a bit heavy. Finished my contract there and I was at a point where I'm like, I don't think I can do this anymore. I don't want to be walking in with a lanyard around my neck.
Yeah.
Doesn't suit my personality style. I like flexible working hours. And then I negotiated a new contract for a job and I was like, oh, maybe I'll take this. And it was a 3-month contract and I was like, I'll wait till September to go full time because that's when wedding season pops in.
Yeah, okay.
But then my current partner back then, he goes, if you don't do it now, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I had a few other friends really sort of talk to me. They're like, just do it. Worst case scenario, you pick up a contract. Try it for 3 months. If it doesn't work, go back in and do comms.
Yeah.
So I walked out of the public service, declined a new role and went out without a safety net. But I will say it wasn't just I woke up one day and I was going to do photography full time. I'd spent 8 years building up the courage. So I think I was quite slow to take the leap. I would have loved to do it, a lot earlier, but here I am and I'm exactly where I'm meant to be.
Yeah, so I think that's, I have that every day. I'm like, I wish I did this earlier. I wish I started this earlier. I think that's with anything in hindsight. But I also feel if I did start it earlier, I probably would have failed because I didn't know what I didn't know, kind of thing. Pete and I actually worked on the DVA stuff as well during that suicide thing. Yeah.
But no, I had a lot of support too. I had a dear photographer, friend Mark Genoway, who took me under his wing with wedding photography. And before I was quitting, he said, there's enough work in Canberra for photos, I'll teach you real estate photography. Okay. So I expanded my skills sort of before I quit as well. So I knew I had some sort of guarantees with work.
So it was wedding photography kind of your niche to begin with?
No, I actually started on the streets. My goal was to be Canberra's street style photographer.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I remember taking another dear friend of mine, Gary Chu, who's an amazing photographer as well. He mentored me and I'm like, all right, how do I shoot? And the first time on the street, I'm like, well, you need to be with me because how am I going to approach these people and ask them? But for me, street photography, I love doing because I can meet a stranger and I've got 10, 15 seconds to break the ice, get you to trust me and let you take the photo. I can't English apparently, so
that's fine. I think your work's amazing.
Thank you.
Really, I think it's kind of nailing that. You get the essence of the person, and in a lot of your shots, that kind of the character of who they are is really present in it. And then you also capture the background and the whole composition. I find quite enticing and encapsulating with your work, and there's lots of leading lines and all that kind of stuff. is that like conscious to you, or is it kind of just you have that skill?
Absolutely not conscious to me. So even hearing you talk about my work, I sort of still struggle with identifying what my style is, and I can't see it. I'm like, I just shoot what I feel and what I see. But I think I do, like when I look at someone, if I am shooting them on the street, like they might be wearing a certain color and I'm like, oh my God, you look great on that wall. So that comes back to my styling background too, because I used to do styling, had a clothing label at one point too. I'm just like a creative person that doesn't know how to sit still. So I think that probably comes through, but it's really nice to see other people see it.
Yeah,
so,
that's really cool. And I think, like, because it's like you do from photography through to like food.
Oh, so I shoot, so I'll do street, portraiture, branding, food, real estate. The only thing I pretty much don't do is landscapes, but I don't post a lot. So a lot of my client work doesn't get posted because it's there, like, you know, it's for their own branding purposes, or I do events as well for like their posts for LinkedIn, and I work quite closely with the comms people as well. Having that background, I'm sort of understanding what they want shot as well. So that sort of helps. So a lot of, I'd probably say 90% of my work, people don't see because I don't post it. And I'm that busy, I guess, delivering on clients' work. I'm hopeless at posting on socials. So I'm telling you this now, I'm going to be better in 2026. So watch this space. So now I've put it out there.
Yeah, seeing it. I think it's hard, like doing all of the creative stuff and then at the end of the day, having to then sit down and do all of the social stuff. Yeah. Like it's
again,
full-time.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
but being a one-person business, you wear all the hats.
Yeah.
You're the shooter, the editor, the social media scheduler. You're the client liaison officer. You're just everything. So terrible at admin, and finance officer terrible. But you got to do it all. So big learning curves. And still learning.
Yeah, I think we will till the end. So you get to do, and you've been in a lot of cool places.
I have been to some amazing places. So probably one of my coolest experiences and most contrast experience was last year. I've always wanted to shoot a destination wedding, and I got to go to Florence in Italy for a destination wedding. Prior to leaving, I was shooting the ACT government election, like doing photos for their socials. So I was working a lot 3 weeks prior and having to finish a lot of client work before I left. So I was a little bit sick when I left. When I say I felt like I was dying is an understatement. I got to Rome, I was like, yes, I'm going to spend some time in Italy and check it out. I was dying in bed, ended up in Florence, shot the wedding, I was sick, pulled through. But when I came back, I got rushed to ER because I had pneumonia, and I was sick for like 6 weeks. So, but that in itself, the experience, like just to see the streets and have different backgrounds to shoot. So I find in Canberra, we are shooting on the same sort of backgrounds because it's only so big, but I'm in a new place, winging it. Like I did a location scout the day before the wedding, like making sure, okay, we're going to walk here to get your photos after church. We went to church and I scoped out. So I did my proper planning that I could, but a lot of it I couldn't plan, and I just had to like wing it and just trust in my creativity, I guess. And the photos from it are probably my favorite wedding photos because they're more like editorial. And the couple love like black and white photography as well. So a lot of it was black and white. So it's really punchy. And then I go every year pretty much to my favorite place, which is New York. I tend to shoot, I've got 3 years of networking. I get access to shows. So I shoot fashion shows on the runway, and it's just hanging out at shows and shooting street style and just being at the right place at the right time and meeting the most coolest people. And I think over there, self-expression is quite amazing, and people just wear whatever they want. I literally can wear anything and no one will look at you twice. Whereas in Canberra, everyone's like, what are you wearing?
Are you wearing heels? So I think like the creative industry, I don't think you really understand where you can go or how far you can go until you're actually in it. And to see like you go to New York and Fashion Week and shoot that, and be there and then continually to go back, like that's pretty amazing to not only get there in the first place from Canberra, but then to continue to go to create those networks, to be invited to events. I think a lot of it is about just being genuinely who you are and making an effort to kind of meet people and understand people. Is that kind of how you did it?
I'm going to go into the woo aspect. I am very law of attraction, universe kind of person. I just had the right people in my circle. So I was literally learning photography, messaged a friend who lived in New York and was like, hey, I want to come during Fashion Week. They're like, oh, what do you want to do? I'm like, I'd love to go to a show, and I've just started photography.
Yeah.
I borrowed my friend's body, so I didn't even own a camera then, and I had an 85mm lens, and for those who don't shoot, that's a portrait lens. That is not a runway lens. Anyway, this friend in New York goes, I've done you a solid, here's a media pass, you're going to shoot for one of my other friends. So I went in, sitting in a media pit, made friends with people because Aussies, we're chatty, like Americans, I think they're not as open, whereas people are quite receptive to us over there. And I was literally sitting in the media pit, looking at everyone with these like zoom lenses, and I'm like, so what are your settings? And that was my first experience. And then from that, I've like continued on with those friendships, and I think, showing up genuine and interest in what they do. And like I still talk to a lot of those people and go back and hang out with them. Some of them got families now, and it's just like this beautiful, like, reciprocated creative relationships. So sometimes I'll send them presets, or if we get stuck, we like brainstorm business ideas and that sort of thing. And I like having pockets of those people around the world.
That's cool.
So,
do you have a runway lens now, or do you still take your 85?
I do. It's 70-200 is what I shoot the runway with. And I do remember Kevin was one of the photographers, and he's like, you will sit in the pit and you'll everyone go, but mark your point and take that shot. Don't take 1,000 photos, just like pick a point and be quite selective in what you shoot. So I take that with me when I'm shooting runway.
Yeah. Do you ever fear that you miss it? Like, because when I take photos, I'm like, I'll just hold it down. So like, guarantee I get something.
Shot. Yeah. 100%. I was in Sydney last year. I was at the opening of Sydney Fashion Week in front of the Opera Harbour, and I was taking photos of the Carlos and Patty show, and I'm like, why are my photos blurry? Meanwhile, I've been doing this for 10 years and I just had like the wrong focus setting. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And it took me like half that runway to figure out. And I'm like, but I was just shooting for myself. So I think in that circumstance, it was fine. But I make mistakes all the time. And if you don't make mistakes, how are you going to learn?
Yeah, true.
So, and I find you learn the quickest when you do stuff up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We went to school together.
Yes.
Which
long time ago. That's not what I tell people.
Yeah, it's crazy how quick life goes. When did you, like, was it a young age where you were like, I like creative stuff or fashion? You had like a clothing brand. Like, did you do drama and stuff when you were young?
No, but when I was young, I've always loved clothing. I remember in year 6, Mum taking me to a fabric shop, and I chose fabric so I could get my palazzo pants and matching vest made by this little Filipino lady, which is, so that fashion I've always liked. And through college, like the girls used to borrow my clothes, definitely had a clothing obsession. But photography actually came to me late in life, and I'm quite open about this. I was at a very low point in my life. I was going through a divorce. I've had depression before, and I really didn't want to fall back into sort of that hole. So I picked up a camera. I was actually styling a shoot, and the photographer Gary gave me his camera. He's like, can you do some behind the scenes photos? And I'd done photography before, but it was always on auto and never really interested me. But at that time, I don't know what happened. It was like alignment of planets or something. And it was just a point, like a turning point for me. I'm like, actually, I really like this. I want to learn it. So I pretty much every week, because I was working full time, every weekend I'd go out and practice shooting. And that was 10 years ago. And that just sort of helped me give, I guess, a new direction, motivation, and gave me a reason to get out of bed. Like, so I'm not just sitting at home, like thinking, because the divorce was unexpected. I was like, yep, got my life plan, and that just went up. And I was like, all right, what am I going to do now? So I think, like, now looking back, whilst that was a really hard time in my life, it had to have happened for me to pick up the camera and pick up the lens and see the world in a new way. I can be really cliche.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow, that's thanks for sharing.
No, that's okay.
That's quite personal. I think I think I said this in another episode. Like, sometimes you need to feel a lot of things, and they can be pretty bad things too, but in order to realize the beauty in it, and also to be like, well, I don't ever want to be like that again. So what can I do to myself or for myself to actually like lift and grow? And I think that's, for me, like recently, been doing lots of like improv acting. And for me, it's like embodiment work when you're doing it, and it's kind of like you get to work through things you've been feeling or emotions, and because you don't really know what's going to come up on stage. And then sometimes you'll like say something like, oh, that's because I actually felt like that, like in a different scenario or like in my personal life. And I find like the creative space kind of gets you to dig deep inside yourself and kind of learn to express and understand things in more of like a tangible way and work through it. I don't really have a question, just a thought about that.
I think in life you do need that contrast. You need the highs to know what the lows feels like, and experience the lows to know what those highs feel like. And that also makes a good photo too, like nice contrast of like bright and darkness. So,
when you're out on a shoot, you kind of touched on it before about like scouting. Is that, like if you have a big shoot coming up, is that something you'll spend kind of doing, or sometimes you feel like it takes away from the spontaneity and the creative, like in the moment?
Depends what I'm shooting. So if I'm shooting someone's branding content, I really like to have a meeting with the person to find out what their aesthetic is, who's their target audience, and sort of try to figure out what they're trying to portray through those images. So with that, I'll definitely do location scouts, because if they want something really dark and moody, we'll find places like that. If they want lifestyle photos in an area cafe, I've got to scout a cafe that's going to give me permission to be there and know what days to go in and make all the ducks line up for their shoot date and that sort of thing. But I think there's like beauty in spontaneity as well. I started out shooting outdoors, so yes, I can do studio photography, but I love being outside and having to pivot. So I could take you walking on the street and be like, oh my God, we need to shoot there because it's this like beautiful piece of light. I can't explain how I read the light, but I just do it. And then in a second, the sun might move and I'm like, oh, that's not good anymore, let's move you, and that sort of thing. So I really do I thrive in chaos. That's just my life. So yeah.
Yeah, it must be our generation.
Yeah.
You kind of said you shot a destination wedding that you always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Now you've done that, and you've done some fashion shows. Like, what's your dream kind of shoot?
My dream shoot, very good question. I would love to work with an international brand, get flown in somewhere exotic, work with high-end models, a full team, creative director, and shoot something amazing and have it published in a magazine. Though I don't do a lot of that, obviously Canberra's like a limited market for that kind of thing. But that if we're going big dreams, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Or to do continued work with agencies and that sort of thing and create, I guess, marketing or social media content that is quite elevated.
Yeah,
that'd be really fun.
Nice.
Because shooting, I love shooting fashion. To me, that's easy and it's expressive, and I love movement. And there's a difference shooting everyday people like ourselves and shooting someone who's as a trained model. The photos are just insane.
Yeah. I remember I did Fash Fest, which was like Canberra's thing.
Oh, that's
not
I think I was shooting back then.
Yeah, I think so. It was 2000 and I don't know, 12 was it?
Yeah,
Something
I think
so. Not a trained model, but I feel like the only reason I got on the runway was because there just weren't enough males in Canberra that showed up.
No, but again, experience in you're boosting your self-confidence and that sort of thing. It's a great experience.
And I
couldn't walk a runway. I'd be like, don't trip.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a good fun thing, and it was nice that Canberra had that kind of thing going for a while, and a bit of a hub, a bit of a fun space, and like a creative avenue as well for designers and fashion labels and stuff to actually come and see Canberra and be part of it. And then it died, so that's a shame. Maybe
someone should start it again.
Yeah,
with all my free time.
Just add it to the list. You kind of mentioned when you're setting up something and calling cafes and trying to get people to have you to shoot there. Do you have any kind of advice for other people looking to do the same thing? Best way to kind of approach a location shot if it's like a private business or something?
First of all, don't be an asshole.
Good tip.
Respect people, respect their time. It's their business as well. So I'm not going to go propose to a cafe, oh, can I shoot here on a Saturday morning, when expectedly that's going to be the busiest time. So maybe go on a Monday morning or find out, just have a chat with them, speak with the manager, and follow and just be kind. I think and I think if you add value, so just say that I don't know how to explain this, but just say I'm shooting somewhere and then I happen to get a picture of the chef or something. Like that's not related to the shoot that I'm there for, I'll give that to them. Like pay it forward. That I find if you pay things forward, it comes back to you. If you're a good person, people generally, I think, show up for you as well. So, nice. And don't be shy to ask as well. I think a lot of us creatives hold ourselves back, and I need to take my own advice, but ask the question. What's the worst case scenario? They're going to say no.
I feel that with even this, like we'll be looking at people, I'm like, oh, I don't want to ask them. Like, surely they won't want to do this.
Well, that's why I said yes too, because one, I understand and respect the hustle, and two, this is quite hard for me. I'm a very chatty person, but this probably doesn't make sense, but I'm shy, but I'm not. Sure. So putting myself out there, I'm out of my comfort zone, but I think you grow as well. So go for those opportunities that are going to make you grow.
And I think even like not only reaching out to people that you will feel comfortable with, like it's about the hard ones too. And it might be like, for me, like, sorry, when I'm, like we were trying to do a scene or shoot or something, it's like, well, I could go to this actor because I know them and it'll probably be easy, or I could kind of reach out and work with someone else and learn something else. And I think you kind of get in a pattern of just using the people you feel safe with, and then what happens is you just end up producing the same material and there's nothing new and you're not learning from it, and then it feels stale because it is stale. Do you often reach out, or do you, like if you're practicing a shoot or if you want to shoot something, will you reach out for models? Or
Absolutely. So I think Canberra, yes, it is a smaller place, but we've got a very, very supportive creative network. So there are things that I'm still learning or things that I want to get better at. So I quite often post, there's a few Facebook groups, I'll put like TFP shoots in there that I'm looking for a certain, I might have a vision in my head, or I'll just post for a model and I let them know what kind of shoot it's going to be, and so that way I can get experience, they can get experience, and then they get the photos and they can use it for their portfolio. And even like, it's not just working with like other models, asking other photographers if you like something. Like I've got a lot of photographer friends and we all have different styles. So we could be shooting the same person and can get a completely different byproduct from it. So I think everyone has a unique vision in the way that they see things, and ask the questions. Like if you want to know, hey, how did you do that with those kind of lights? I'm not a gatekeeper. I welcome people asking me questions. Generally people are okay when I ask them questions.
So you recently got back from Colombia.
Yes.
Which is pretty amazing to kind of see you go and then come back, and now we get to chat to you about it, which is pretty cool. Do you want to take us through like how you even got into that position of being kind of ready to go, and then kind of what you did while you were over there?
So I went for a whole month. This came about, so a dear friend of mine, Lauren Cannell, she's ACT Woman of the Year, and she was nominated for Australian of the Year. Oh, wow. Which was last night, but she didn't win, but she lost to someone incredible, so they're all winners. But she runs a not-for-profit agency, Education Diversa, which focuses on children's rights, well-being, empowerment, and teaching them through storytelling and art. So I volunteer for her organisation here in Canberra. I take photos and just social media content when she needs it. And last year she asked me, hey, like next year's going to be 10 years since I've started this program. It originally started in Colombia and I want to deliver some of my workshops overseas. Do you want to come and document the process? I said yes, not really knowing like what I was getting myself into. And then fast forward, October came around and I was on a flight going, oh, what the hell am I doing? So we spent a month in Colombia and she had organised workshops in a number of places. And when I say I've seen some really, really poor places and I'm grateful for what we have in Australia, that trip was very grounding and eye-opening. We went through Medellin, Bogota, Debuja, Santa Marta, there's a few other places, Cartagena and that sort of thing. And we essentially worked with some existing foundations because we can't go in on our own. It's just too dangerous. Definitely had insurance on my gear. Wow. But we went into these schools or community network kind of places and taught children about their rights. So she's got she's developed a framework of cards that speaks about I think it's 42 children's rights through illustrations. She hands them out in class and then they talk about it. So it's aimed to, I guess, give children a voice and an understanding of what's right and what's wrong. And often in countries like this, there's a lot of child sex trafficking, a lot of drug trafficking. They don't know sometimes when they're getting asked to do things or when things happen to them that it's actually not okay. I was in a way lucky that I don't speak Spanish because I was sheltered with some of like the things that the children were disclosing or commenting on, because I was just taking photos and videos, and things would be translated to me later. But you know, at one point, like we're sitting down having lunch with the kids and this little boy is putting a sandwich in his pocket, and she asked him, "Why are you doing that?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm saving it for my mum for later." Oh, wow. Like we went into another village, there's no water, no power, it's pissing down rain, delivered the workshop to the kids, and then like we paid for the mums in the village, like this collective mums that sort of look after, it was 50 kids odd, and like we shared lunch with them, you know, they made a special lunch, make sure they were fed, and quite often that's like the only meal that they get. So, and the places we went to were wild. Like I would never book a trip like this, but I'm so grateful for it. And I guess very humbling as well. Like whilst I didn't speak the language, I think there was this natural understanding that I was there with love, and I've come from a place that I care for them too, and they were giving me hugs and telling me they loved me when I left, and using Google Translate. One of the days I bawled my eyes out, not gonna lie about this. One of the girls, she was like 13, and she used Google Translate, and she said, "I don't know you very well, but I can tell you're a very nice and kind person." And like I just bawled and was like hugging them. Like it was beautiful. So hopefully maybe do an exhibition out of that. I'm not sure. Lauren will definitely cut together some of the video, providing it's good enough, to do a bit of a documentary and that sort of thing. And then my photos will be used across her platforms to help maybe get some funding for future projects and that sort of thing. But we already know it's had an impact because she had a follow-up with some of the teachers. So it's not only about teaching the children, it's giving the program to the teachers so they can then continue it when we go. But some of the teachers circled back and said, you know, the children had come up to them and disclosed certain things and sort of, having an impact of some sort. I think like if you can give back in some way, do it. And that was my way, giving up a whole month of work. Did I think that through? Absolutely not. Because prior to that too, I went to Japan. This is the great thing about working for yourself. You can block out your calendar. So I've had like 6 weeks off, went to Japan for 2 weeks, came back to work for 8 days, and then went to Colombia for a month. Wow. And then came back straight to work. So, and here I am.
I think like, I think that what I like about this whole creative space is that it can be used to do really good things. And I think like throughout time, art has always been used to try to like educate, uplift, change. And there's always instances of where, like even in ourselves, we can do something like volunteer or help out or provide advice or create something that can have impact and change on someone. And that's why I like acting so much, is I think like how cool would it be if you're on the big screen and there's a whole audience watching you and they're feeling like real things, or they're projecting onto you like things that they've experienced, and they're dealing with it and they're processing it through like this creative thing that you're presenting or you're doing. I think that's the same like photography and art and all those things. It's just a lot of people get a lot out of it, I think, that we don't often, as like consumers of the product, we don't often talk about.
No, I definitely agree with that. I think art is a form of connection, and as humans, we crave that. And like, you know, your performance, you can impact on someone in ways that you wouldn't even know. Like they take something away from that. It's beautiful.
That's why I don't get like AI, creating stuff in AI, because to me, I'm like, if you're a photographer, why wouldn't you go take a photo? Like why? Because the other stuff is soulless, and it's just like a calculation or a mathematical equation to work out what it should be. And I get there's like a place for it in like the beginning and research and understanding, but I feel like the end product should come from within.
I think as well, if you do have an AI generated image, say if we're doing portraiture, yes, we can generate an AI portrait based on 10 images, and it'll formulate something for you. But when you're having that interaction with someone, there's a bit of vulnerability or whatever it is that you may be expressing, and that photographer catches that just at that moment, and it's a single moment in time. I don't know.
The micro interactions, I think, tell more than like the big smiles. It's the slight crease of the lip or something that gives away more to to the audience than the big gestures.
Yes. And taking the time, I think, with clients to get them comfortable with you. I love those in between moments. They're probably my favorite, particularly when doing wedding photography. I don't like a lot of posed stuff. I prefer that sort of natural like movement and just the in-betweens.
The real stuff.
Yeah. But you can coach people into it. You've got cues and that sort of thing, like, whisper things into her ear and that sort of thing. But the in-betweens is what I live for, I think.
Cool. Part of what we do is we go create something.
Okay.
For you, the person to review and critique. And this one we just, because of your photography skills, we're like, well, we're going to try to set up like a still shot, and then like just have me walk in it and do stuff. But really wanted to kind of just get your perspective of like, if you were at this location, which is like a mountain, like what kind of things would you be looking for? And what kind of things would you kind of get the model to do or be, or even like contrast or wear or like where they would be. So it's only like 30 seconds. We'll just show you it.
Okay.
And then...
Didn't study for sure.
Yeah. And then honest, brutal truth. And the point of this is just to help people.
Okay, so pressing play?
Hit play, yeah.
This is a nice laptop, by the way.
Pete's perk for working with his KPIs. That's it.
Okay.
There's nothing. Go.
So what am I meant to comment on?
So just if you were, like, from your expertise, like the shots, not so much me doing stuff, but like if you were framing something, what was good in that frame, what you wouldn't do or what you would change, and then kind of like just your perspective.
In keeping in the mood, or if I put someone else in there?
You can put anyone else in there. So if you chose like a different model, and you were shooting for a different style, like what kind of things would you change or look for in a scene?
Okay, so if I was shooting for a different style, let's take it to fashion.
Yep.
First of all, I love the time of day that you've shot. So that looks late afternoon or early morning.
Yeah.
So that golden light on you is beautiful. That is something that I look for. So if you're shooting model portfolios, for example, that's a perfect time to shoot because it really evens out the skin tone and you've got this beautiful halo. I really like that there was like dirt and gum trees and that sort of thing. So I would have a bit of a juxtaposition and have someone dressed in a really high-end gown, maybe a pop color, like red. I noticed that there was wind in there, so I would like the garment, rather than being structured, maybe have a bit of movement, because then we could go for more of a romantic feel with that sort of sunset golden hour coming through. You'd have a bit of movement in the photos, and like that sun ray hitting her hair. She'd have long hair. Maybe red hair, because I think that'd be nice. I don't know. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to like see someone's brain work and like start to understand and pull things together. That's cool.
And she's got to have like some ridiculous high heels, port model, but walking in the dirt. But I just see, like, because when you ran on, like, I like that sort of close-up shot that you did too of your sneakers. So you could do that with someone in like holding a gown up, walking in her heels, and then pans up to her face. I don't know.
Very cool.
That's how I see
awesome.
it.
That's good. And then, so just for like other people and even ourselves, like trying to create opportunities and go out and shoot things, and like that wasn't much, right? It was 3 or 4 shots. But it's like, well, we did it. And through that, you can learn and grow and then do the next thing and then do the next thing. And I think like we're in an age where it's easy to get a camera and to shoot things and to create things. So if you were like how do I say this? If you were young you now, like what kind of advice would you give yourself?
Go to the gym earlier. No, advice, start. I think sit in like a holding pattern for too long where you're aiming for perfection. Can't post this because it's not perfect, or I don't want to shoot this because I don't have the right camera. Just start. The best camera you've got in your hand, like the best camera you have is what you've got in your hand. If you've got to start on an iPhone, that's what you've got to work with. And some people produce amazing things with it, like for videography or photography with an iPhone. So you don't need the most expensive equipment. Say yes to every opportunity, walk through those doors, ask the questions, and just, if you don't do it right, it's all right, you're learning. I'm still learning 10 years on, like, I think, main thing is to start and not be afraid of the challenges, I guess, that arise with it. And if you don't know the answer, there's so many resources online, which I still use too. Sometimes I like, YouTube lighting techniques, or like, how do people do certain things?
Yeah, cool. There's, I think also in that there's like, because I remember I used to like apply for heaps of stuff when I was younger because I had more time, and I wouldn't get it. And then I was like, I didn't even get like a free model shot. Like, why not? And I think it's, as you were saying before, you could have a really clear picture of who you want, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's nothing personal for me. It's just that I didn't suit that look, or what the photographer or what the producer was looking for in whatever they were doing.
That is definitely, so I do work with Victorian models in Canberra as well, so I shoot portfolios, and sometimes I run workshops for them. And especially for the younger models, like when they're in their teens, that's something that I reiterate a lot. If you don't get chosen, you just might not be what they're looking for. So sometimes when I have a shoot in mind where I'm working for a client, I've got specifications. They want, Southeast Asian, they want someone with blonde hair, or they want someone that looks like insert random description. So if you don't get chosen, it's not necessarily you, it's just not suiting the vision. And I think today's modeling industry has changed a lot. So back in the day, you had to be really tall, thin, whereas now we're embracing so many more cultures, body shapes, individualism. Like back in the day, you couldn't have tattoos, whereas now I think that's okay. So just keep trying. You're gonna be right for someone, and just be right for yourself in the first instance. So be okay with yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Like, if you are strong in yourself and who you are, and everything that you aren't and everything that you are, then that kind of comes across on film or on screen. And that's more important than being a 6 foot blonde if you're not,
Yeah, embrace your individuality and your charisma, and I think that does shine through.
Yeah.
And everyone's got a unique, I find people beautiful. Like, I can't help walking down the street, I'm like, oh my God, this person's gorgeous. And they might not necessarily be traditional beautiful, but I see, like, it's their smile or their eyes. I think everyone has something unique, and that's what makes us all awesome. So, yeah.
I'll end it on that good note, I think.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Done.
thanks so much.
Thank you for your time.
No, thank you.